So we are following a major shakeup tonight and how elections are overseen nationwide. A lot of this happening just months before voters will be casting their ballots in the midterms. President Trump has removed members of the bipartisan Election Assistance Commission. That's the federal agency that helps states like Washington manage voting systems, distribute election funding, and maintain voter registration standards. The move comes after the commission pushed back on efforts to require proof of citizenship for voter registration. And at the same time, the Justice Department's warning election officials in all 50 states, including Washington, that they could face criminal charges if non-citizens are allowed to vote. Joining us tonight to talk about those federal moves is the man who oversees elections here in Washington, Secretary of State Steve Hobbs. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Okay, so Secretary Hobbs, should Washington voters be concerned about any of these changes and how our elections are run?
Absolutely not. This is tantamount to disguising a temper tantrum with an official letter. It really doesn't do anything. We're still going to do our jobs. Our office is going to conduct, coordinated with the 39 county auditors and elections director, which, by the way, most are Republican, and we're going to have a very secure and accessible and transparent election like we always have before.
The DOJ, as you know, is warning states about potential criminal liability tied to non-citizen voting. So how does Washington currently verify voter eligibility?
Yeah, so, we have a voter registration system that's online. You can go on, you can use your last four of your social security number, but for the most registration is actually done at the driver's license. So you have to prove who you are at the Department of Licensing. And if you have the enhanced driver's license, then you are automatically registered to vote. And on top of that, there are many systems that we have in place. We have the ERIC system that checks to see if you have registered in another state or voted in the same election twice. We also know when you pass away. So sometimes we can find people that ballot has come in and they had died during the process of the election, but they turned in their ballot before they passed away. They signed it. So there are a lot of systems in place, and we check them all, including the signatures that come up.
The DOJ letters give states 5 days to respond. Has your office received that letter, and how have you responded if you have?
We have received it, and we will respond, and I'm sure we will let all the news media know how we respond. I can tell you that most secretaries of state, both Republican and Democrat, are not very happy with this letter. I know the Secretary of State in Utah called this was a love letter, another love letter from the administration. This administration has shrank resources for this state. Our biggest threats out there are cyber actors, Russia, China, who constantly attack us. We rely on the federal government for help, and they're really not helping this year. In fact, they're even threatening to cut Homeland Security grants because we are not complying when handing over the private data of our Washingtonians.
The president and the administration will say that all of these moves are in the name of securing our elections. With the removal of these members of the Election Assistance Commission, does that impact our state in terms of funding, guidance, or voting system oversight?
Look, what I'm seeing right now is the fact that this administration has lost every court case. They can't get the SAVE Act passed. This is like a boxer who's losing in a boxing match, and they're just doing wild haymakers to try to land a punch. The DOJ letter really doesn't do much, and it's unfortunate that they have fired these commissioners, but overall, you're not going to see an impact on the elections.
And our state relies heavily on vote by mail. So these federal actions, does it put any pressure on that system?
So what it does is it does make us in the state and our counties to let the voters know that they should turn in their ballots early, mail them early, or if you're a week out from the election, just put it in a drop box. Because even all these things that we talked about, the biggest problem that we had is the U.S. Postal Service changing their rules on postmarks. So they no longer put the postmark on when you mailed it. What they do is they put the postmark when it arrives at the central facility. And so that's why I urge the voters out there, mail your ballot early. Don't let it sit there. If you're a week out, just put it in a drop box.
And I'm sure there'll be a lot more messaging about that as we get closer and closer to the midterms. Finally, just for our viewers looking ahead to the midterms, what should we know or should we feel confident for sure in the system that we have in place right now?
Yeah, people should know that you can actually go to any county auditor, county elections director, and actually see the process yourself. Don't make this a mystery, right? There are systems in place. We talk to different databases. We check every signature. If you have any doubts, contact my office, or better yet, go to your local county election center and see for yourself. Ask the questions. Don't just continue the myth without really knowing the facts.
Know the facts. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs, thanks so much for your time on this Friday night. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.